Okay. Good morning. 5 days till final presentation night. No stress, right? I'm going to try to go through this quickly, so y'all stay with me, okay? If you have questions, I will gladly answer your question. First, everybody got one of the checklists. Feel free to take notes on that. Add things that I talk about that aren't on there, or just little reminders for yourself. Here's one that you can add. I created a map for you to send your mentors so they know where to park and where to enter. It's on the Student Learning Hub for this 6 weeks under Resources. And it looks just like this. So if they park in the front, they can enter through the gym doors right here. So I've got the little arrow, and let them know that we will be in one of these two gyms. I combined them, but those are the two auxiliary gyms, okay? If there's no parking in the front, they need to park back here. I put additional parking, and I put an arrow for them to go through the cafeteria doors. This is important for your mentors because one of the most frustrating things is if you go to a school or something. Alex, put that up. Hang on. One of the most frustrating things is if you get here and you can't find an open door. It's really frustrating if all the doors are locked. So I want them, as our guest, to know where to come and where to meet you and all that. And I'm going to try to have some signs out in the parking lot, those big signs that kind of direct people to where they need to go. But add that to your list where it says confirm with your mentor, send them the map. Guys, know that if your mentor can't be there, you must have a knowledgeable professional to evaluate your final presentation. So, any questions about that? Not that one. This is the layout of the gymnasiums and how we're going to be set up. So on my right, on the right side of the screen, where the doors are, you'll come in. Each one of those tables represents one cafeteria table for 2 students. Because they're the big fold-out tables. So 6 feet on one side, 6 feet on the other. So each one of those represents 2 students. So there'll be 32 of you in one gym, 32 of you in the other. There are no reserved, except I'm probably going to reserve, this one in the corner for Cordell, because he's going to have this like bicycle thing. He's using a bicycle to generate electricity. It's his product. He's going to need a corner. So I'm going to save this corner for him and this corner for Trevor. And if you need a corner for something, you need to let me know. Like if you have more than your display, you need to let me know so I can reserve that. So that's how it'll be laid out. There'll be some in the middle, some over here. Same thing for both gyms. So that's how it'll be set up. First come, first serve. And then this is how we're going to be seated on stage in the auditorium. And I will go over more of the details later. Basically, I told you we're all going to be sitting on stage. So when we dismiss from the gym, you will take your mentor, you'll go through the Fine Arts hallway, and you'll go through those stage doors. Don't let your parents and everybody follow you through those doors. That's for students and mentors only. So you enter through the stage. I will have labels on the seats in case you forget where you're supposed to sit. But basically it's Alpha Order ISM2. It's the order of the program. So it'll be ISM2 in Alpha Order, Seniors Alpha Order, Juniors. Okay? Yes? That's up to you. You can give it during your classroom presentation. But the gift for your mentor is totally optional. I've had some kids that wanted to present it in front of the big audience. That's fine. Or I had some that wanted to wait until the classroom setting when it was a little more intimate and then present it then. But they're all going to get a plaque, so. Where? All right, so Alex, here's kind of the way this part's going to work. Brandon, who's right here, is going to do a little welcome. And I wrote the welcome for him. It's about 1.5 minutes. So he's going to do a welcome, and then he's going to say, basically, at this time, students will introduce their mentors and present them with a token of our appreciation. Okay. Then at that point, Alex will come out here with his mentor. He'll come to the podium. This is important, guys. We're not going to get to practice this. My ISM 2 kids hopefully will get to practice this, but the rest of you aren't. I'll go over that later. So you need to follow their lead. But what I want to happen is I want Alex and his mentor to come to the podium, and I want everyone to fall in line and go up the aisle behind him. So it'll look like this. Okay? So the X's and O's are student and mentor. Not just because I'm a basketball coach, okay? There's significance here. So this whole row, I would like, when y'all stand up, I don't want you standing in front of all these people. I want you to navigate yourself into the aisle between the two. Make sense?
Well, is the person going next? I mean, are they?
Well, they're not necessarily. Why is that confusing?
Because then the people that come out first are going to have to stand in front of the people that are coming out last.
No, you line up in the order that you're going to. So Alec and his mentor come here. The next person will be there, and everybody just gets in behind. And so Brandon and his mentor will be way back here. It's not as far as it looks, okay? Just trust me. Just go into the aisle and line up in the aisle. This is going to make this process so much quicker, and it will expedite this rather than walking across the stage to a microphone. So you'll just go one right after the other. We're going to make this smooth. I don't want you running through it, but I want you close enough that once Alex gives his little mentor introduction, then he's going to go back over here and be seated. And then the next person will come up and they'll go back over here and be seated. All right, so after row 1 goes, then this is, look at it like this. This is kind of the A side over here. I put this on one of these, but A side, B side. Make sense? A, B. So this side will go, and then Sarah, and we'll start this row. Same thing. Sarah will come out here. The whole row will kind of go up the aisle. That way everybody can see. And it's just smoother. Then, if you're on this side, if you're on the B side, you'll go back this way. Here's where it changes a little bit. After the first row goes, like the second row, this will be, I changed this up, Chris, a little bit from what I showed you before. Matt then will come out here with his mentor, and everybody will line up the aisle. But when Matt finishes, he's going to go over here, around, and back down to his seat, so that we have like a circular flow of traffic. Make sense? And then Camille will come out here, and he'll go back over here and go back down his row. And I'm going to try to have enough room between the chairs that you're not having to, walk tippy-toe through that row. So does that make sense? So it's this part. So you'll hear all the mentor introductions, and your mentors will hear all the introductions. Last year I had them standing in the hallway. I'm not making that mistake again. I try to learn from my mistakes. So they're back there in a dark hallway. They were talking because there were so many back there. And so we'll all fit on stage. This is going to make it much better. So after the last mentor introduction, which will be Ira, Then Sarah and Alex are going to introduce me. I'm going to come up and give a really short closing. I will dismiss you all to go to your classrooms, you and your mentors. When I dismiss you, y'all will go off stage just like you did before, through the stage doors, down the Fine Arts Hall, and head to your classroom.
Does the back go first? How do you want that? You just want everyone going at once? Or?
Well, yeah, we should kind of start at the back, but you need to try to move quickly and quietly, because the audience is going to stay, and I'm going to show a little slideshow. So you don't need to be loud, noisy. Just quietly get off stage, get through the stage doors. Once you get out of the doors, walking down the hall, you can talk. You can. I don't care if you're loud. But while you're still on the stage and exiting the stage, know that the program is still continuing on. I'm going to ask the people to stay. There's going to be a little pause because I'm going to lower the screen and get the slideshow ready, but still just be respectful.
What do you tell the person who's not going to our classroom to set the stuff up for the
As soon as,
Should they just do it right after we finish in the gym and then
Yes.
go to the auditorium?
yes, as soon as we finish in the gym, when there'll be an announcement at 6:45, so that way hopefully some of the people will start heading over there, and I'm gonna encourage them to go up to the cafeteria. If the weather is nice, it's going to be a lot quicker for them. Rather than going up the Fine Arts hallway, I want them to come and go through the cafeteria outside to the front doors of the auditorium. So we're going to, Ms. Gates, I asked Ms. Gates or Mr. Betcher to make that announcement because I'm usually tied up somewhere. So they'll make the first announcement about 6:45, then they'll make another announcement at 5 till that it's time to move over to the auditorium. You need to be folding things down. You need to get your mentor and head over to the auditorium. But you and your mentor can go up the Fine Arts hallway because we're entering the stage door. And some parents and everybody else will end up going that way too, but they'll just have to walk down that long hallway through the doors to enter into the auditorium, the front part. So any questions on this portion? Make sense? Okay. So you need to make sure you update your portfolio and that it's ready to go, that your mentor's name is on there and all of that. Make sure your display board is updated and ready to go, and that you have your mentor's information on there. I've had some students, they didn't have room to put their mentor stuff on their board because they really liked how their board was, so they had a little picture of their mentor and a frame and a little bio to the side. But you need to acknowledge your mentor on your table. Okay. You're going to get, here in a minute, you're going to go over there and get what's called your exit, and that's not like I'm exiting you from ISM, closeout packet for the night. And everybody, it's going to have your name on it. It's going to have this checklist for your classroom. So this is something you will take with you and put in your classroom. And you can do that right after school on Tuesday. Inside the packet, you're going to have, this is instructions on how to fix the computer screen. If you turn on the computer, you turn on the projector, and what you see on the computer screen is not what you see on the projector. This is how to fix it. This is instructions on how to fix it. You'll hit the Windows button, which I point to with a little arrow, and P. This little screen will pop up. You make sure it says duplicate, and then you're good to go. So this hopefully will save some cardiac failure happening, in your classroom. So that will be in there for you. Also, this is your mentor's evaluation of your final presentation. And if they haven't evaluated your product, it's a 2-for-1. All right? So on the back, they can evaluate your product. And then, so this page will go on your mentor's desk that you'll have for them set up in the classroom. This envelope, you put it there so they can fold it up, put it in an envelope to give back to you.
They don't have to fill out the map
If they've already
done it a month.
completed this, however, since your product isn't technically due until tomorrow, I'm probably going to send it out tomorrow, the online one, so I don't know how many of them will have done it. But let them know that if they prefer to do the online Google form that I send, that's fine. But since they're there, if they want to go ahead and do your product evaluation, that would be great. So this will be on the desk with a pen and an envelope and water for your mentor. They're your special guest. Okay, all this stuff will go inside this envelope. And, you can get it today, you can get it Monday. But the main thing is if you take it home, you need to make sure you get it back. Because what this is y'all are going to be spread out in 64 rooms. When you're finished with your final presentation and everything is cleaned up, you're going to check off, did I leave a thank you card for my teacher? Did I pick up trash? Did I do all these things? Then you're going to bring this envelope back to me in this room. This is the hub. This is where you'll come back at the end of the night. You'll give this to me. I'll check you off and say, you're good to go home. All right? So don't leave without bringing this back to me. You also, if you want anything, like your programs that you're printing up, you can just go ahead and stick them in here to have with you when you take to your classroom. You're going to need a sign-in sheet. So create a sign-in sheet, stick it in this folder, so you'll already have that. You'll also need a sign, just simple sign-in sheet, a simple sign for your room, so that your name and your topic and people know that, okay, this is the correct room, but don't cover the room number, just put it right above the room number. Make sense? So any other extra stuff you want to put in here prior to going to your classroom, it's a great way to keep it all together. Questions on that? Clear? Okay. And you'll put your room number down here. Everybody hopefully knows their room number. Okay. How many of you have actually checked the equipment in the classroom where you're going to be staying? Yay! It's hot. I would encourage you to do that before Tuesday. Don't panic if you can't find the remote to the projector, because this old-fashioned thing of standing on a chair and pushing the power button still works. Okay? I actually had a student freaking out one year, calling me, panicking because they couldn't find the remote to turn on the projector. And I had to just refrain myself from saying something sarcastic. I knew they were stressed. I'm like, okay, it's all right. Just get in a chair, stand up there, push that button that says power, and you're good. And you'll have to turn it off the same way. It's usually those silly little things that we freak out over sometimes, so I understand that. But just know that if you can't find the remote, there's still a way to turn it on. If you need extension cords, markers, whatever you need to gather up the night before. I am guessing we will not have time to go home after school, because you have to set up your classroom and set up your display in the gym. And if I say cafeteria, just correct me, because we've been in the cafeteria for the last 5 years, but we're not in there. We're in the gyms. You have to set up your display in the gym, be dressed, ready to greet guests by 5:45. So that's an hour and a half. So you need to plan that out however is going to work for you, but I expect you in the gym, dressed in your best at 5:45, ready to greet guests, because people will show up early. And it also give you a chance to kind of look around at some of the other kids.
So we bring our stuff here in advance, and then when we come back at night, bring it from here instead of having to bring everything up.
Here's the problem with that. We can't fit everything in here. We just can't. I wish we could, but so you can keep it in your, I would load everything in my car, and I would prepare for rain. So I would make sure you have a couple of big trash bags that you can cover your display board You can put your display board in big trash bags and your portfolio and whatever you need. I know it really worked great because one of my kids one year letters fell off, but they were in the bag. So we were able to easily get them back on. So I would encourage you to put everything in a big trash bag, prepare for rain. You know, it's been a little crazy lately, so chances are we could have some rain. Bring your portfolio, bring your clothes, have everything in your car so that you're ready to go. So the night before, go through everything and make sure you're good to go.
So would it be better to go home, change, then come set everything up, or would it be better to, right after school, get the stuff, set it up, then go home and change?
I would, this is me, I would rather set it all up and then go change, because I had, like one year, I remember Cody, he went in and started moving desks and everything, and they'd turn the air off for a little bit, and it was like 100 degrees over here, and he was in his dress clothes, he was just sweating. So I would encourage you to at least go get your classroom set up before you leave. Go in right after school, and when I say set up your classroom, you're going to take a student desk and put it outside the door. And eventually that will be used to prop the door open, but that desk will be where you put your programs and your sign-in sheet with a pen. And it also helps people know as they walk down the hall, they'll see an open door with a desk, they'll know there's a student presentation there. So you'll set a desk outside. I'm going to tell the custodians leave it out there, and you're going to come in. You need to turn on the computer, pull things up, check things out, make sure everything's going to work like you want it to. Sound, if you need sound, make sure the sound is working, and set up your audience area the way you want it. Have a special place for your mentor with their desk. Some kids are fine just leaving it like a classroom with desks. That's totally up to you. However you set it up, just know that you need to remember how it was and put it back like it was. But your mentor is going to need a desk because he or she is going to be evaluating things. So they'll need a desk. You can take 3 of these desks if you're in a regular classroom, or probably just 1 lab table if you're in a lab, and put those together where you want your display board and everything set up. That way you can tell your trusted friend, hey, when you go in my classroom, you'll see 3 tables together. Set up my display exactly as it is here on those 3 desks. So they'll put the tablecloth down, put your display board, and set it up just like you had it in the gym. But you'll need to think about, where am I going to stand, and where would I want that as another visual aid, you know, for the screen and all that kind of stuff. Make sense? So I would do that. Go ahead and get your classroom set up. Put things in your classroom, like your envelope, things that you're gonna need in your classroom, but not, like your envelope doesn't need to go down to the gym with you. You can go ahead and put that in the classroom with your programs and everything. So you'll need to quickly do a sign-in sheet and a classroom sign for your door. A thank you note for your teacher. I have thank you notes over here. Thank you note for your mentor. A list. There's a list of things for your table, and I'm not going to read over all this stuff, guys. You can read through it, but you need to have a tangible representation of your product that's going to be on your table. Portfolio updated. You need to have your tablecloth. So make sure you check off your list and have everything that you need for your table. I had a kid one year forget his portfolio, and then he's calling his parents and scrambling to get it there. You definitely need to have a personal thank you for your mentor. So the thank you for the teacher and the thank you for your mentor, you can write those today. Yeah. And stick them in this envelope as well. And you can have the thank you for your mentor on their desk, and you can have the thank you for the teacher, just leave it on their desk. Okay. The next page where it says the day of FPN dress rehearsal, that's only for ISM2 students, so don't worry about it. So if you're an ISM1 student, you can mark that off. It's at the top of page 2. If my ISM2 kids mess it up, it's all on them. They're going to lead the way. Okay, so I already talked about classroom. I would have, this is huge, water for yourself, water for your mentor. Just a bottle of water for yourself, because you know a 30-minute presentation, your mouth gets dry. So definitely have a couple of bottles of water. I think I've covered all of that already. I tried to break this up into set up classroom. Here's a big deal. Try to eat something. Either bring something, have someone bring something, but you'll need to eat at least a little something before. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, just make sure you have napkins and stuff too, and that you clean up. And that's optional if you want to have refreshments in your room. I already talked about the product displays. I have at least 3 friends coming to help, because I recruited my friends to help. And my husband is taking the day off work, so he'll be here. My friends are going to help with computer stuff. My husband will help with heavy lifting stuff. So if you need something moved, he's your guy. Just shoot me a text and I'll send him to help you. You have something heavy, because he's, UPS man. So there are two areas you're going to need set up: your classroom, right, and in the gym. No later than 5:45, you should be at your table dressed in formal business attire, ready to greet your guests. If you get there a little early, it's kind of neat to walk around and see what other students have done, because y'all are limited to just what's in our class. Remember, guys, we're hosting this event, so as an ISM student, we need to be helpful. We need to direct people where they need to go. We need to help them find people. Whatever we need to do, we need to be hospitable. Huh? Customer service, exactly. So be polite, help, make arrangements to meet your mentor somewhere. Here's what I don't want. I don't want you on your phone. Your phone doesn't need to be, this is a professional event. I understand that at the beginning, if you're trying to meet your mentor and they may text you when they arrive, that's okay. Then you can leave your display, walk to the front of the gym or wherever they are to meet them. Like if you show them the map and you ask them, well, did you park in, are you coming in the gym, the doors by the gym? They say yes, go out in the lobby and meet them. You can leave your stuff, it'll be fine. Or if I had to park in the back, then come through the cafeteria doors and meet them and walk them down there. So you want to make sure you meet them. As people come by and visit your table, it's no different than the showcase. Give them a handshake, introduce yourself, introduce your mentor. You're going to have people that you've never seen in your life come up to your table. So it's not just about the people you know. The goal is to really represent the ISM program and to showcase what you've done and the work that you've completed. So greet them, introduce your mentor. Again, don't leave your mentor out of conversations, and don't have your friends just collaborate around okay, we're all just going to hang out here and loiter around your display. Tell them to go. Shoo. No loitering around display boards. There's going to be, I don't know if you saw this on the, out here in the lobby, this is another cafeteria table. We will have catered punch and either, I think, cupcakes. Cookies or cupcakes. So depending on what time your mentor gets there, if they get there early, you can walk them out there, take them through the refreshment line, get them some punch, get yourself some punch. But then it's amazing punch, I think. So you can do that. That'll be out in the lobby area. The floors are going to be covered, so I'm guessing it will be okay to bring those back inside. The tarps that they use just like for testing. In what? Well,